I'm Bessie.
I'm Oliver.
Welcome to our newly renovated New York home, which is also the Arjé home. The whole idea for the living room was really to create this very grounded, modern, but also very warm feeling. So we designed this sofa. This sofa's called the Noah, and the meaning of the Noah is to rest. And we wanted the sofa to be this really, really deep set. Everybody can sit here, 4 people together. We also designed this beautiful coffee table, which is called the Cosmo, and each piece underneath the glass countertop is a symbol. So it's circle, square, and triangle. So the whole vibe in this room was really to make it super cozy and really just comfortable, but still with that New York City chicness, playing with the darker floors and the lighter rug, and also the contrasting colors of the beige sofa with the walnut wood accents. So something we really love in this room that we did was to do these moldings on the wall to really help lift the ceiling and create more of a space. And it took us some time to develop the lime wash technique that we did. And lime wash is a really great paint to use because it's also good for you. It's got no chemicals and it creates this beautiful texture and beautiful depth. And a lot of the feeling that we wanted to create, which you'll see throughout the whole home, is this more Mediterranean feel and this warmth of colors and tones and textures. So whilst the living room has that more chic element to it and chic feel, these walls really help give that more painterly and softer vibe and softer effect. So another one of our favorite pieces is this beautiful chair by Danny Kaplan. They're all handmade in his studio in Brooklyn, New York. And when we saw it the first time, it just really gave us this feeling of this beautiful ancient chair, as if it was from another place and another time. And this corner we really say is the meditation, the morning corner. The light comes in the morning and it bounces into this area and bounces back onto this wall. So it's almost like the safe space every morning that we come to.
And one of the most important additions to the living room was this decorative fireplace. We want to bring this concept of coziness into the environment.
And Ollie built this one by hand, and he did this amazing Venetian plaster technique. So this deep, we call it an anthracite color. It's like a real black brown. It's got a lot of depth to it and finished with this really beautiful wax finish. And we paired this painting above the mantelpiece because really the two blacks are almost exactly the same. They've got all this texture and dimension. So this is the library room, and something that's very special to us. It used to be just the dining room because the way the library room connects into the kitchen, you can really be here reading, and that was the idea when we developed the room, that you can be here sitting, open a book, and really enjoy with a glass of wine, whoever, well, it's usually Ollie cooking, and I can be sitting here. So there was nothing here, there was no bookcase, there was no library, and we built this wall from scratch, and it really is the showcase for all the pieces that we sell on Arjé.com. Every single piece within the home has been either curated, created, or collaborated by us with different vendors from around the globe. Something we loved doing and collaborating with this amazing woman, Kelly from Maison Plage, was curating book stacks and selling them as real complete stacks to our customers. And obviously you've got the beautiful shearling chair with the ottoman called the Enzo.
So this is the chair that probably is the main piece in our collection. We would say that is probably the interpretation of our famous shearling jackets, where we're trying to create this kind of shape and form, kind of like a brutalist kind of concept, together with the softness of the shearlings and the additions of the walnut legs.
So the last thing we wanted to show you in the library was this beautiful painting by Lucienne Am, and it really felt like this character that owned the space and graced the space and welcomed you in. And the beautiful lines had this rhythm and harmony to them that we just fell in love with. So welcome to the dining room. This dining room actually used to be our studio for many years, and it was something that we knew when we first had the idea to renovate the home and make it into an Arjé home, was to create this space with the kitchen. So originally the kitchen had a wall here, and we really knew we wanted the sunlight to flood through and create this fluid energy between the two spaces. And something that we have to highlight is these handmade oak wood fluting walls that Ollie literally made one by one, rounded, to create this perfect, I call it the masterpiece of the home, because it's like the backdrop to everything, and it's the beautiful vessels with it, the paintings by Jessalyn Brooks, which have this really gorgeous cubism feel and these mix of tones and textures. And the whole idea in this room was to gather. It was the celebration of gathering, having people over, being able to cook and hang out on the dining table for hours. And this table is called the Tessa, which does mean to gather. And we paired it with chairs from Ben Jezik. And what we loved so much about his pieces with ours, it's the same black walnut, but with these cognac leather backs, and it's almost like this sling chair. And the colors and tones and textures we did in here was to create this very spicy, warm, Mediterranean mood. So Ollie's Spanish, but we spend a lot of time both in Spain and Italy, and a lot of the inspiration from the home was really to create this warmth of like an ancient world mixed with all the modern elements that we have in here.
So this is the kitchen. So probably is the epicenter of the house. For whatever reason, we are gathering always here. So this one probably was the most important renovation process, where we remake it 3 times, as we didn't find properly the texture and the color and the finishing appropriate that we were looking for. We want to bring a little bit more kind of like a grounded element into the kitchen with the island, where we create this again with the Venetian plaster element. We create this kind of very like a slate kind of feeling, surrounded with some wooden fluting, the pairing in some ways similar to the dining room, that everything is connected and flowing. So the first thing that we wanted in the renovation of the apartment was to connect the kitchen with the dining room. The first step that we did is to knock and open this arch, this wall, that we thought it would be something really easy, but it turned into a very complicated process. But it was probably the most enjoyable thing that we did. We also custom made these cabinets where the base is very basic, but we custom made it using like a sort of organic paintings, like chalk paints and sun stains, to bring this kind of very woody and stony looking together with the Venetian plaster countertop. And then another element that obviously is part of our own personal collections are the cutting boards, and again with the 3 symbols attached in the boards, the circle, the triangle, and the square, that symbolize the 3 elements that run around the apartment. Okay, so this is the bedroom. So probably is where we put way more energy into it, because we wanted to create this kind of very sanctuary place where body and mind and spirit rest. We build out this where everything, every wire, everything is hidden, so you don't feel anything around.
So we really curated the objects within this space to be very earthy and very soft, but also have these harder angles to them. So we've got the Giselle Hicks vessels, which we had referenced downstairs, with the circle, triangle, square again, and then these beautiful sculptures from Rajan Lee. So we really played with the 2-tone colors and brought that into the bedding as well, which is all natural linen made in Europe from Belgium flax, and collaborated with a brand called Cultivar. And it really, the idea in here, like Ollie said, was this beautiful sanctuary, but also this space where we can rest for the day, a different vibe to downstairs, but still with the same harmonious feel of the same elements and the same textures that runs through the house. So on this side of the bedroom, we worked with an artist called Jenny Edgar to curate these beautiful artworks that's all handmade thread stitching, and also carries through the same concept of circle, triangle, square that really runs throughout the whole house. So we also wanted to play with the geometric forms that frame the bed and tie it into the fireplace on this side, married against the curved walls here. So it's got this very cocoon, soft-like feeling, and it's just this whole setting has this real beautiful, cozy, warm vibe to it. So the whole feeling of this home is really to create this experience of both something extremely cozy, but also as if we've taken you to another place and another time. And all the objects that we've either curated, collaborated, or created, we really want to share with all of you to create this experience within your home.
So thank you so much for watching and spending the day with us, and see you soon.